Hello everyone, I am Shivanee and welcome back to my channel. In case you are new here, I am guessing you either like to read or would like to start reading. So go ahead and subscribe to this channel and click on the bell icon to stay notified, as there are a bunch of new videos about book reviews and book hauls coming up on this channel. So this is the second episode of the Books You Must Read series, and today I am going to be talking about fiction. If you guys haven't checked out the first video, I'm going to link it up there. And yeah, I have mentioned it a couple of times earlier as well, that it's been a few years that I have deliberately avoided reading fiction because I think it does not add as much value to my life as the other books do. But it's funny that two of my favorite books from the fiction genre are something that I read in the last 7 to 8 months. So yeah, not really underestimating the potential power of the genre. In no order of preference, here are 5 of my absolute favorite books from the fiction category. First up is A Man Called Av. Funny thing, for the longest time I thought it's actually called A Man Called Av, but Rich later told me it's actually called Uwe. I think it's too late for me to go back to Uwe at all, so I think I'm stuck with Av for the rest of my life. Anyway, so I read this book in November last year, and in my 25 years of existence, in about 12 to 13 years of reading books, this is the most heart-melting book that I've ever read, and I have read quite a few. I like this book so much that I gifted it to 2 of my friends because, well, I believe in spreading happiness. I also convinced Rich to read it, which she loved, by the way. It's a story about Av, a grumpy old man and the life that he leads. Nothing fancy, nothing crazy. It's just a simple, beautiful story, definitely a page turner. After reading this book, I felt like I'm missing being in love, really. Also, another thing that I want to mention is that the book is originally written in Swedish, and you know how they say that while translating, a book loses its magic or the right sense of emotion. So I just keep on wondering that if it's so beautiful in English, then what a magical journey it would be to read it actually in Swedish. Next up is Cain and Abel. It was the first novel that I read by Jeffrey Archer. It was suggested to me by Rich because it was her favorite back then. It's a story about Cain and Abel, 2 people who are born on the same day on the opposite sides of the world with different lifestyles, different problems, but they're brought together by fate. What is really fascinating for me in this book is that it is spanning over a period of 60 years, and more or less it always focuses and revolves around these 2 characters, but never does it ever gets boring. After Cain and Abel, I also have read his other works, The Prodigal Daughter, which is its sequence, and Thereby Hangs a Tale, A Prisoner of Birth, among others, but never have I ever been so awed by his work as I was like 6 years ago. I've also read Heads You Win. It came out in 2018, and he says that it is his most challenging work after Cain and Abel, but somehow I didn't feel the connect. I didn't like the book that much. Talking about the book, I would like to mention here that in January this year, I got the opportunity to meet the man himself. Yes, I know, it's amazing. I even have the book signed by him. It happened at Jaipur Literature Festival. It's not an advertisement, guys, but I want to say that if you like reading, if you like to interact with the authors, Jaipur Literature Festival is an amazing place to be. It was a lovely experience, and Rich and I have like this small pack that we might just go there every year. Let's see. Third up is The Book Thief. Now this one was on my list for the longest period of time because I had heard such great reviews about it. When I got to know that this book is narrated by Death, I mean, yes, you heard it right, this book is narrated by Death, and I was like, whoa, that's gonna be interesting. I mean, think about the whole thought process and perspective that Marcus would have thought about to make this book happen. This book is set in Nazi Germany between 1939 to 1942. Talks about a girl named Liesel, a teenage girl, and also she's the one who's referred to as the book thief in this book. So it talks about how she ends up with the foster family, makes a connection with the foster father, makes friends and so on. It's very interesting that death tells you at the very beginning that the ending is gonna be bad, and you just keep on reading to figure out how bad exactly. It's also very interesting to read Death's perspective about human actions and human emotions. Also, a funny story. So when I was going to the Jaipur Literature Festival and I had not researched about that there is a lineup for authors, there are different authors every day, I just thought, I would go to the festival and sort of like bump into Marcus. I know, silly me. But anyway, and luckily I was reading this book at that time and I had a weird thought. I generally buy books from the street vendors. It's a copy and they're always cheaper, right? So I thought, what if I take this book to Marcus and he's like, no, I'm going to not sign this copy, because it's a copy. And yeah, that made me order an original book from Amazon. And it's a different story that I never met him because he was coming, I think, a day prior or on the same day but in the morning. But I did not get to meet him. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. It will stay with me for the rest of my life. Next, I want to talk about the gem of this book called The Kite Runner. The story is about two boys, a story so powerful that it anchors your heart, characters so strong that your heart goes out for them, and storytelling so gripping that you won't be able to keep the book down. It's a story about two boys, Amir and Hassan, starts with their happy childhood days and how a horrific accident changes their lives completely. How they deal with it, how they cope up with it, is what builds the story further. And as you move on, you realize that people are not wrong. I mean, sometimes there are situations when you have to choose between what you think is right and what is actually right. The book will leave you exhausted, inspired, thinking, and heartbroken. But trust me, it's worth your time and energy. You don't need to have fiction as your favorite genre to like this book. You just need a beating heart. Funny thing, it's the only book that has got tears welled up in my eyes. I know, it's amazing. Just go read it. Lastly, I want to talk about P.S. I Love You. It was the first love story I read back in 2010 when I did not even know what love was, but still could feel it so strongly and intently. Fun fact, I've never read this book again, that's one thing, but I have never even read another book by Cecilia Ahern, thinking that it would sort of ruin my experience and love for this one. I know, I'm kind of silly that way, but there is another book, Roar, by her, which Redmi says is very good. I have read like a couple of pages in a bookstore and I think I might go with that one afterward. 9 years? Yeah, anyway, so coming back to this one, it's a story about Holly and Gary, two people who are crazily in love, and starts with the death of Gary and how he leaves a series of love letters and plans little things so that she never feels that he is away. I know, it's heartbreaking. By the way, also, there is a movie adaptation by the same name and I have seen it and I think it has not done justice to the amazing work that we should applaud Cecilia for. And if you guys have seen the movie, liked it, not liked it, I would suggest go ahead and read the book. It's way much better. But aren't they always better? With that, we are at the end of this episode. But for all those who stayed, there is a bonus. Okay, how can I ever talk about fiction and not talk about the one book that changed the way I look at reading? I am talking about, I'm going to put drum roll music. Anyway, so I am talking about Harry Potter. I know, few of you would be like, what? It's a children's book and not meant for us or whatever. But trust me, adults, teenage, whoever, everyone can read it. It's a very beautiful story. It has such well written, well thought of characters, and it's amazing. And I would just like to say that also, by the way, the 7th part of the book is the only book that I've read again because I was just so sad that it was the whole series was ending, and also that the till date, that's the most costliest book I bought for about what 820 rupees if I'm not wrong. So yeah. Also, I would like to mention here that a friend of mine, a classmate of mine, her name is Asha. She's the one who introduced me to this magical world, and I know I've said it a lot of times in the past, but I would like to say it again, that thank you so much for making me see the beauty in Harry Potter, to making me read it. And because I am here talking about books, sharing my happiness because of what you did all those years ago. So thank you so much. And it's finally over. You know the drill. If you like this video, give a thumbs up and let me know in the comments below what you think of it. Also, don't forget to share it with your friends who like to read, who would who would just want to start reading. Don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell icon to stay notified every single time I come up. And yeah, I will see you again soon in the next video. Until then, do whatever makes you happy. Bye bye.